Hi you guys. So this is a video that I've been looking forward to making for literally like 6 months. As you know, if you've been watching my other videos, I've been trying to reduce my use of plastic, and I've been trying out products that are packaging free so that I can tell you about them and tell you what's good. So today I'm talking about packaging free deodorants from LUSH. They make 2 different ones, and because I was going to be reviewing and comparing and whatever, I decided I needed to try both of them. So since about the end of July, I've been using both. I started off with Aromaco, and then I used Teo, and now I'm back with Aromaco. But I actually really like them both. And I've actually recently repurchased both and plan to continue using them, basically each one in different scenarios. So I'm going to tell you about both, and you can decide maybe one sounds better to you over the other, or maybe you want to tag team it like I am. So I'm going to start with Teo. So this one is $10.95, and its ingredients include juniper berry, tea tree, and lemongrass. And so I've been using this for a while and didn't think it had a scent, but I forgot apparently that it actually did. You can definitely smell the lemongrass. And like as I was bringing this home in the car, I could smell it. I actually was bringing home also teriyaki, and I was like, oh, my food really smells good. But it was not my food, it was this. And it's been sitting on my kitchen table, and every time I walk past, I smell it, and it smells really good. It's like really refreshing. So this is what it looks like. It's got like, this is the deodorant side, and this is, I don't know what this side is. I think it's supposed to be for you to like hold on to when you apply it. But honestly, like this part fell off of mine, like I want to say within the first 2 to 3 weeks. But now that I'm looking at a new one, I think that it does seem like it keeps everything kind of more together, this thing. But I mean, if it falls off, then it's not doing any good. So I don't know. It's almost like they tried to add like some kind of packaging without having packaging, but I don't know. It seems like that part of it could use a little bit of work, but honestly, even after it fell off, like I kept using it and it was totally fine. So I'm trying to like be careful how I'm handling this one because it does leave like powdery residue. Like it is a little bit messy, and when I first started using it, I thought I was gonna hate it for that reason. It's like, you know, when you're at Disneyland and you see people eating beignets and they have like beignet dust all down their shirt, and you can like tell where the beignets are being sold because it's all over the pavement, and you can see like a trail of beignet dust like throughout New Orleans Square. Like if you lose your friend who's eating beignets, like don't worry, just follow the powdered sugar. That's what this reminds me of. It's like a little beignet for your armpits. And when I would apply it, like dust would fall like on the ground and stuff. So really thought I was gonna hate that, but I kind of got used to it, and I kind of figured out like how to apply it more so more product is going onto my armpit and not onto the floor and the rest of the universe. So I feel like that's not something I can describe to you very well, like how to apply it. I think you're just gonna have to get it and figure out like what works well for you. One thing I noticed though is that, so when I was at LUSH, they said make sure you apply it on your skin when it's completely dry, because then it changes the texture of the product if it gets water on it. But what I found is that when it did get a little bit of water on it, like say if I took a shower and then I towel dried and put it on and then it got a little bit of water on it, it seemed like it made it kind of less messy. Like it did change the texture of it a little bit, but it kind of made it hold together a little bit better. So I don't know if that was a bad thing. Like I didn't really go out of my way to avoid getting water on it. So I was just looking at the website too, and it says that Teo, because it's kind of dusty, like it helps absorb moisture like sweat, which I feel like that sounds like it's gonna look gross, but I swear like when I applied it, like there wasn't any visible stuff on my skin, but I did feel like it absorbed. I actually thought it maybe had like an antiperspirant effect, but I think that's probably what it was doing. It was just like kind of a little bit absorbent. So okay, now I'm going to talk about Aromaco, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a comparison. So Aromaco's texture, I would say, is more similar to what you would expect from like a stick deodorant. I would say it feels more like a cross between a deodorant stick and like a bar of soap. So it's like a little bit more solid than deodorant. So it's still soft enough to like apply it to your skin when you want to, but it's like not coming off on my hands or anything. Like I don't feel like I need to wash my hands after I use it. This one has like a patchouli fragrance. Literally like around the first time I started wearing it, I went to my parents' house and my dad's like, what are you wearing, patchouli oil? And I'm like, how do you even know what patchouli oil is? Like But also, yes, I am. So I know some people really don't like that fragrance. I personally do really like it. I don't care if it makes me smell like a hippie. I think it smells really nice. One thing I should mention is that when I bought these, the person at Lush told me, actually, you know what? I don't remember if the person at Lush told me this or it was something I read on their website, but they said that it lasts like 6 hours. Like it only protects your odor for 6 hours. And I was like, that could be a problem. Like I'm pretty active. I'm a dog walker for a living. Like whether I'm just working all day or sometimes I have school after I go to work, I don't want to go to school smelling like I've been sweating and walking dogs all day. So I need something that's going to last for a while, and I don't want to have to reapply my deodorant in the middle of the day. And I will tell you that in my experience, this is just my personal experience, this one definitely lasted at least 24 hours. And the other, I would say, lasted a little bit longer. I do think that like throughout that 24-hour period with Teo, I felt a little bit fresher, and I think it's because of that like absorbent quality, but I never felt like, oh man, I'm smelly. Like, you know, it was never a problem. Okay, so I was just editing this video, and first of all, I noticed it seemed a lot shorter than I expected it to be. And as I was editing, I realized I completely forgot to tell you one of the most important things that I wanted to tell you. And it's about Aromaco. So this is my old one, and this is my new one. And I think with the old one, I used it for about 2 months, I want to say. And I noticed it started kind of drying out. It wasn't applying as well, and you could just tell by the surface it was getting kind of hard. Like it's hard. I don't think I can really tell you by looking at it. I don't know, I don't think you can actually tell by looking at it. But this one, definitely when I got the new one, I realized it was a lot softer, and yeah, this one just started to dry out. So I've asked them at Lush, a couple different people, what recommendations they have to avoid that. And the first person suggested, since it was already kind of dried out, to kind of shave the sides off of it with like a butter knife or something like that. And so I did that, and it kind of helped, but like not really. It wasn't a great solution. And so when I went to rebuy this one, the person told me, so she used to live, I think she said Arizona, somewhere that it was a very dry climate, and she said hers would dry out like within days. And so she started keeping hers like inside of a baggie with like a slightly damp paper towel. And I meant to do that with this one, but I kind of forgot. So I haven't done it yet, but I probably will, or at least put it like inside of an airtight container or something. Or maybe, I know they have those like reusable beeswax wraps. I can't talk. They have those reusable beeswax wraps. I'm assuming there's a vegan version of those, but I haven't really seen it. But like just wrapping it in something to keep the air from getting into it, so it's not just like sitting out and drying out. I think those things would probably help. Like even this one, I've been keeping it wrapped in the paper from Lush, and that seems to be helping a little bit. But even though this one did kind of dry out, I feel like between this one and the other one, they lasted me 6 months, and I was only using those 2 deodorants. So even if like the end of it did dry out and I had to throw it away, like I feel like it was still worth the money. But I will try something with this one. I don't know if it's going to be the paper towel thing or just keeping it in a container, and I will see if that works better. Also, if you have any suggestions or anything that's worked really well for you, let me know. But yeah, that is one of the reasons that I wanted to test these out for like several months, like actually using them every day rather than just using them a few times and telling you like, yeah, I like them, they're good, because I wanted to find out if stuff like this happened. But I really wanted to let you know like what it was like to use these on a daily basis for an extended period of time, so you know what they're actually like, and I could give you a more accurate comparison. So hopefully that helps. And okay, back to the old video. So as far as comparisons go and the reason why I repurchased both, so like if I have a day where I'm going to be super active, maybe I have a lot of dog walks that day, maybe I'm going to Disneyland and I'm trying to make it from rope drop to park close, which is something I've never done. I've tried, but I've never accomplished it. Or maybe it is one of those days where I'm working all day and then I have school. I probably would use Teo just because it's a little bit extra, it's a little bit stronger. Like I said, I feel like I feel fresher longer with that. But for my typical like average day, like Aromaco is just fine. Like today, that's what I'm using. I have a couple dog walks, some cat visits. I'm filming these videos, and that's about it. If I was but let's say if I was, instead of filming videos, like doing some public speaking or something, then I would want to go with Teo. Okay, and then another thing that I wanted to make sure to tell you about comparison wise. Okay, so for summer, because it was super hot and I was prepared to be sweating a lot, I would usually use Teo. But there was one day that I went to Disneyland and I was wearing a tank top and I was wearing Teo, and it was super hot that day, and I was in the park for several hours walking around, probably apparently sweating, and it left like a nice little like halo of like chalk looking whiteness under my armpit, like so like under the sleeve. Well, I wasn't wearing a sleeve because I was wearing a tank top, but you get what I'm saying. On my shirt under my armpit there was like a little light circle, and it wasn't super obvious. Like, I wasn't embarrassed about it. I don't know if people would notice. People are probably, especially because my arms are usually down, not that big a deal. I can tell you though, as a secure woman in my 30s, didn't bother me, but I feel like it happened to me when I was a teenager or maybe in my 20s. I probably would have been insecure about that. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get at here is probably if I'm wearing a dark color tank top, I would want to use Aromaco, and otherwise during the summer I would use Teo. And I never had an issue with it with like shirts with sleeves, like short sleeves or whatever. It was never visible. It only happened that one time when I was wearing a tank top. So that's something to think about if you're trying to decide which ones you want to use. And I think that's the end of my review and comparison. Pretty sure I said everything I wanted to say. Let me know if there's any questions that I didn't answer, and I will see you in the next video. I actually have a couple more packaging free products that I'm going to be trying out. Let me know if there's anything you're curious about and you want me to be like the test subject and try it out and tell you about it before you buy it. But one nice thing about Lush though is that if you are lucky enough to have a store in your area, they will take products back. If you try, say if you try this and you're like, I was a hot sweaty mess and I smelled terrible. I mean, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think you will like it, but let's say hypothetically that is what happens. They will take the product back, or they will help you find a product that is gonna work better for you. So don't you love it when people say bye and then they just keep rambling and you can't get away from them, and then they just keep talking and talking? Okay, I'm gonna end here. Okay, see you later. Bye.